All right, man. Let's do a Xiu Xiu album tier list. Now, they have a bunch of little like really miscellaneous albums, like freaking Kling Klang and all that. I didn't include it. I forgot an album. My bad. Well, I actually forgot like two, but yeah. Let's just get into it, man. I didn't include their little miscellaneous ones like Kling Klang, Moira, or whatever it's called. I did include Slur Patrol just because it was on this tier list. And I don't know, I just kind of listened to it out of sheer curiosity. That's all we gotta say, man. Let's just get into it. Starting us off at the bottom. This isn't even a bad album, really. It's Angel Guts. This one's going in D tier, actually. It was just kind of boring, I'll be honest with you. I don't remember a thing from this one. Pretty sure it's post-rock. Wasn't a fan. Like, barely remember a thing from it. Just not a fan at all. It was just whatever, man. Like, I remember it being boring for the most part. And it wasn't even like bad. It was just like straight up just sleepy, boring. I didn't care. It's like a light 5 for me. Literally did nothing for me. And then above that is Always, staying in D tier. This isn't even a bad album either. I actually remember really liking it. But like, I barely remember a thing from it. And even after going back to it and kind of like looking at some songs like, oh yeah, try to remember this. I don't remember a thing. It's just like, I mean, like, I don't even care, It's just one of those albums that I don't even care about by Xiu Xiu. Literally leaves no impact on me. It's decent though. It's a decent album. I'll say that. It's like a light to decent 6 for me. It's quality, but I just don't remember a thing from it too. Just whatever, And then I think we can go in C tier now. We're kind of speeding through this, but in C tier, I would throw Fabulous Minds. I think this album is really overrated. I'll be honest with you. I think it was pretty good, but it's just like there's a few big highlights, but then it just kind of has, I feel like old Xiu Xiu is kind of hit or miss for me in the sense that, like, for the most part, it's just kind of forgettable, and I feel like that's what this album, it's not even forgettable, it's just like, it's just kind of okay, like, it's good, but it doesn't have the impact that Promise, like, I just feel like it's not on par with the albums that came before this, Like, it's not on par with a Promise or a Knife Play at all. It's not on par with, like, Slur Patrol. It doesn't have, like, an interesting kind of sound to it. It just kind of has that, quote-unquote, pop Xiu Xiu sound. And it's good, but it doesn't really do much for me. I really do like that one song. It's not I Love the Valley, it's the other one. That song's amazing. The listening to that while playing Mario Kart was crazy. But yeah, this album's good. It's a good album. It's a pretty good album. But it's not like S tier, like a lot of people say it is. It's pretty overrated, actually. It's like a light to decent 7 for me. It's quality, but it's not like, up there. Honestly, this can go under it. It's their 4th album, La Monnaie. This can go under Fabulous Minds. I don't know how to say it. Sorry, but this album was cool. I remember it being pretty just like consistently good. I remember this album starting really good, but it just kind of falls into like the same quote-unquote pop Xiu Xiu sound. And the more folksy kind of instrumentals are cool, but like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. They're not that interesting. It just kind of feels like a Promise Part 2. But not as good as a Promise at all. It's good though. It's good. It's like a light 7 for me. And then going above that, I think I can throw. Yeah, I'll throw Slur Patrol in C tier above Fabulous Minds. It's just kind of got that folksy kind of instrumental. It kind of reminds me of Unclouded Sky, except not as good. Not having that same atmosphere. It's pretty good though, I will say. I found it to be pretty consistently just like, oh yeah, this is a good folk song. It's nothing crazy though, I will say. It's just like, I don't know why I'd listen to this over Unclouded Sky. Honestly, after I talked about Fabulous Minds, it kind of grew on me. I'll put it above Slur Patrol. Yeah, Slur Patrol is good though. It's a good album. It just wasn't anything crazy, and I don't know why I'd listen to it over a Promise or Unclouded Sky. Anyway though, I think we can go into B tier now. Yep. In B tier at the bottom would probably be Women as Lovers. Now, I think that this is, I think this is a pretty interesting album. I think it's one of the most interesting Xiu Xiu albums. It's pretty challenging in terms of sound. It's pretty messy as well. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of intriguing in the sense that it's just like all over the place. It's really weird. There's no like there's no certain sound on here. It's just like you have the noisy tracks, then you have the more poppy songs. It's just all over the place. Really messy, and I really like it because of that. It's pretty weird, but I like it, It's cool. It's a light 8 for me. I think it's a pretty interesting album, and I think if I had to re-listen to any Xiu Xiu album right now, I'd probably re-listen to this one. Just because it's pretty intriguing to me. And then above that, I think I'll throw the Air Force in Dear God, I Hate Myself. I feel like I'd probably throw Dear God, I Hate Myself above it. I feel like Dear God, I Hate Myself and Always are kind of similar in the sense that I don't really remember much from them, but I do remember Dear God, I Hate Myself having that weird glitchy kind of video gamey sound, and I remember writing it down, I have it in my notes right here. It says like, sounds like 8-bit video game music at times, and then I found out like literally a week later that some of the songs in here were made on a DS, which is really cool actually. I just remember really liking the Air Force and Dear God, I Hate Myself quite a bit. They're just pretty fun listens actually. Yeah, I don't know, man. I enjoy both of them pretty much on the same level. I like the glitchy sounds on Dear God, I Hate Myself, and I like the more pop-orientated like stuff on the Air Force. They're both just pretty consistently great records that I really enjoy. They're both decent 8s for me. Nothing crazy by Xiu Xiu, but still pretty great. After talking about them, though, I'll actually throw Nina under the Air Force above Women as Lovers. I feel like Nina is kind of like Women as Lovers in the sense that it's super, super weird. Like, I'll be honest with you, I did not like this album at first. Like, on the first few tracks, I was not enjoying it at all. But then you kind of like, I don't know, I had a weird reassessment of this thing where I just really like, I found it to be like this really, I don't know, just the way like, I don't really know how to put it. The way Jamie uses his voice, he kind of sounds like tortured, and with the weird, kind of overproduced like instrumentals, it kind of reminds me of Speeding Bullet to Heaven in the sense that it's really noisy, really not like conventionally sounding great, but honestly still pretty good. I'll be honest with you, like it's just this really strained, really emotional listen to me at least, and I found it to be a pretty, just another intriguing listen from Xiu Xiu. I found it to be one of the most like interesting albums like Women as Lovers, but I feel like its unconventional sound structure, the fact that it kind of sounds bad at times, but it also sounds kind of good at times. It kind of throws me off a little. Overall, it's a really strange listen that starts pretty weak, but it kind of comes in and it kind of comes into its own near the end with like this weird noisy jazz rock thing that they have going on. It's also a light 8 like Women as Lovers, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like the Air Force and Dear God, I Hate Myself are just better. And then now we're getting into the really good stuff. Like this is like peak Xiu Xiu right here. I'll throw at the bottom of A tier. I feel like these albums are pretty close for me. I'll throw Oh No and Knife Play. Now, I feel like Oh No probably has the higher highs. I feel like the closer is amazing. It's peak Xiu Xiu for me. But like, I feel like, now here's the thing with Oh No and Knife Play. Knife Play starts really amazing, but kind of goes into this weird kind of ambient, softer sound near the end. But Oh No starts kind of weak, but then really picks up near the end with like some just amazing songs. These really noisy, really crazy songs. I'll actually put Oh No above it. But I feel like they're just kind of like, they're basically reversed in the sense that Oh No starts kind of weak, but then picks up at the end. And then Knife Play starts really strong, but then it doesn't get weak at the end. It just kind of falls off a little in terms of quality. I feel like both of them are just really fun listens that I just really enjoyed a lot. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really have nothing else to say. They're just very fun albums by Xiu Xiu that I enjoyed quite a bit. Yeah, they're both like light to decent 9s for me. They're amazing, but not on par with the other stuff here. Now that I talk about it, though, now that I talk about Knife Play and Oh No, I kind of want to put Forget somewhere like in the middle of them. I feel like Forget is also on par with these albums, but to be honest with you, I'll put Forget above Knife Play, but I'll put it under Oh No. I like how short it is. I found it to be a pretty fun listen. It's got that poppy Xiu Xiu sound that I kind of find to be a little forgettable at times. But overall, I like its short runtime. I think that kind of makes me want to go re-listen to it. And overall, while I don't remember a lot from it, I still remember, having a sense of enjoyment while I listen to it. It's pretty great, actually. It's just not on par with their other stuff that I find to be much better. It's also a light to decent 9 for me. It's quality, but it's not, like, as I said, on par with everything else. And then above, honestly, I'll actually put this, we'll see, because next up is Unclouded Sky. I'll put this above Oh No and Forget and Knife Play for now. But, like, I love this album, man. I love the sheer amount of vibes on this one, because the vibes on here are immaculate. Like, it kind of reminds me of the Last of Us TV show in the sense that it's got this weird dystopian sound. I love the interludes in between where it's just, like, kind of ambient kind of noise. It sounds like this really, it just sounds super dystopian, and I love it for that. I love the little folk tracks on here. I really like the vibe. I just love the vibe of the whole thing. It's a really good album. I think it's very underrated, and I think like it's peak Xiu Xiu, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed it. It's like a decent 9 for me. I could see Oh No and Forget kind of being on par with this, but I don't know. We'll see. Above, actually, I'll put this under Unclouded Sky. It's the Twin Peaks cover album. This thing was amazing. I actually really liked it. I've never watched Twin Peaks and I've never listened to the music from Twin Peaks. I know it's iconic, but like, I don't know, it just never really caught my interest. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was just an amazing album, super consistent, super like creepy sounding, you know. It was just really good. I just think I think my biggest problem with it though is its runtime. It's a little over an hour, and like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's kind of post rock too. I don't know. It doesn't make me want to really revisit it. It's still an amazing album though. I still really enjoyed it. I just like other albums more, you know. It's an amazing album though. It's like a decent 9. I really enjoyed it. And then yeah, I was gonna put this one in A. I might throw it in S though. It's Xiu Xiu's most recent album, Ignore Grief. I'll put this in like A or S. I'll put it in A for now. Sheesh, man, this is one of their funnest albums. Like, it's just more Girl with Basket of Fruit. Like it doesn't have the sheer amount of insanity that album has, but like, if it like had that, it's such an amazing album. Like, seriously, this is their most underrated album. I see so many people giving this like, it's decent, you know. I see so many people saying it's a fine listen. No, dude, this is peak Xiu Xiu, top 3 Xiu Xiu, bro. It's so amazing. Like, it's so good. It's just consistently just horrifying, just sludge. It's so good. It's so good. Like, the singing is crazy. The explosions are crazy. I remember on that last track, I was expecting something to just explode, because it's just kind of like, it's just such an atmospheric, like, it's so atmospheric and horrifying. It's so amazing, dude. It's just more Girl with a Basket of Fruit. And I love that album. Yeah, I love Ignore Grief. I think it's super underrated. I think there's no bad songs on here. It's just consistently like, oh my god, this is amazing track after amazing track. It's amazing. It's amazing listen. It's a decent 9 for me right now, but I could see it growing on me. Yeah, it's one of their best to me. Then in S tier, It's a Promise. I like this one a lot more on first listen. It kind of grew off me on re-listen. It's an amazing album. I just feel like I wish I had more of those more acoustic tracks on here. I like those a lot. And to be honest with you, on re-listen, it kind of lost its surprise factor. I remember on first listen, I really liked it because it kind of felt like this really weird tossing and turning kind of album where it's like, it'll be this really slow acoustic track and then it's a bunch of noise and you're like, yo, what's going on? It's an amazing listen though. I love Jamie's vocals on here. I think it has some of his best vocal performances ever. Love the production. I just wish it had more like acoustic tracks is all. I don't know. From what I remember, it didn't have that many this time. It's an amazing listen though. I love it. I think it's a beautiful album, but you know, it just didn't hit on re-listen and kind of made it grow off me. It's like a decent to strong 9 for me. It's an amazing list. Deserves all the praise it gets, really. Then in S tier, I mean, like I hinted at this with Ignore Grief. It's Girl with Basket of Fruit, man. This was my first Xiu Xiu album. I listened to it out of sheer curiosity, okay? And I loved it, man. I feel like I kind of forced myself to like it on first listen. I was like, yeah, I really like this. I really like this. In reality, I just kind of really liked the first track and that everything else was kind of cool, you know? But on re-listen, man, sheesh. Like, this album is just friggin' crazy. That opening track is probably my favorite Xiu Xiu song. I'm not even joking. Everything else is just all over the place. It's dark ambient. It's friggin' noise rock. Jeez, it's so good, man. It's so messy. It's so freaking loud. I love Jamie's vocals on here. I love his... it's an amazing listen, dude. You just have to listen to it, and if you don't get it, I understand, but if you do get it, you already know, man. It's an amazing listen. I love this album so much. It's a 10 for me. It's one of my favorite rock albums of all time, to be honest with you. It's an amazing listen. And there's my Xiu Xiu tier list. I had a lot of fun going through the discography, despite some of their albums being a little forgettable. I think that they're on a whole new run right now. I'm super excited to see what they have next. Like, I'm really tuned in, really want to see what they drop next. And I'm really excited, to be honest with you. Yeah, share your rankings in the comments as always. What's your favorite Xiu Xiu album? What's the worst one to you? How do you feel on Angel Guts, to be honest with you? I feel like the only time people talk about Angel Guts is when people say like, oh, that's my favorite Xiu Xiu album. And I'm like, oh, seriously? Yeah, share your rankings in the comments as always. I'm glad you made it this far in the video. Had a lot of fun doing this. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.